Hey there, horror fans. It's your buddy Phil here, and I'm back at it today with another live stream for you guys. I thought I would come on, see what is going on with the internet. Hope everybody out there is doing good today. Just give me 2 seconds, guys, while I share the stream out. What's up, Robbie? Hope you're doing good, Robbie. Is that it? Robbie Richards? Haddonfield Slasher. It is freezing here, guys. I'm freaking freezing. We got Daryl in the house, Mr. Meat Hook. Y'all go visit his channel for sure. He says, "Hey Phil." Robbie Richards says, "Good. Just watching the movie Shot Caller." David, shouldn't you be in bed? Not yet. It's freezing here, LOL. It's freezing here. It's a tit-bit nipply here too. Tit-bit nipply. A tit-bit nipply, eh? So, I want to get through these old DVDs, this drawer. So, I'm going to start. First up is the movie Grace, Love Undying. This is about a woman who gives birth to a stillborn baby, and then the baby comes alive. And it's basically like a zombie baby. But yeah, crazy movie. Writing way too small on the back for me to even try to read. If you can see that there. I can't read that. I probably could if I put my mind towards it, but nope. That's Grace. I actually do have a poster of the movie Grace as well. So I pulled that out just to show you guys. On the back is Hatchet 3. Nice little Victor Crowley there. But yeah, that is Grace, Love Undying. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Whoa, what a surprise. Old school shinobi. What's the occasion? No occasion. K. Titus from Japan, Phil and his zombie. David says 13 days of Philmas. Old school shinobi coming in with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Old School Shinobi, for the $5 super chat. You are incredible. And just so everybody knows, my super chat is on. You can contribute to the channel if you so desire. And depending on the color of your donation is how long it stays up top, so everyone can read your message. I believe an orange stays up for 10 minutes, and then it goes on from there. Blue, I think, is 2 minutes, maybe 2 or 5 minutes. Thank you so much, Old School. I really do appreciate that super chat. Hail Mary, full of grace. Devil bones, devil bones, devil bones. You guys are awesome. Next up, we have Gravy. This is a crazy movie. It is about cannibals having dinner. And I forget her name, but the girl from Precious is in this. The girl that played Precious. Few actually well-known people in this one. It's Halloween night. A trio of costumed misfits with very special dietary requirements invades a Mexican cantina and forces the staff to engage in a late night of gluttony. The only caveat is what's on the menu and who will survive until morning. From director and co-writer James Roday, this deliriously demented horror comedy is a true feast for genre fans. Stuffed with an outstanding ensemble cast and perfectly seasoned with laughs and scares, you'll be sure to ask for seconds on Gravy. So that is Gravy. I highly recommend this movie. It's a lot of fun. If you have not seen Gravy, see Gravy. David says, Old School, do you think Ding had any nightmares? Shin says, we appreciate the hangout, Phil. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Swaggy Duck is in the house. He says, yo. Shin says, gang, LMAO. It's very likely. I checked out her video and it was entertainingly insane. Shin says, hey, Swaggy Duck. Rasmin's message from Spirit says, hello. David says, is that Macho Man on the cover of Gravy? I don't think it's Macho Man. It is not Macho Man. No Macho Man on the cover of Gravy. Swaggy Duck loves my shirt. Thank you so much, Swaggy Duck. That is amazing. TwistedTeesMerch.com. You can grab this shirt. Shin wants to know, Rasmin, what is the incoming transmission from Spirit? What are the spirits saying tonight, Rasmin? Let us know in the chat. What's up, Paul Phoenix? You're finally in a live stream. Woo woo! One super chat ding for Paul. Anyways, we got The Grudge. This is the Sarah Michelle Gellar Americanized remake of The Grudge. It's in the DVD drawer because I have it on Blu-ray. Pretty sure this has a few special features that aren't on the Blu-ray. From filmmaker Sam Raimi and acclaimed Japanese director Takeshi Shimizu, covers this special unrated extended edition featuring terror never before seen in the original theatrical cut. Sarah Michelle Gellar stars as an American nurse who has come to work in Tokyo. Following a series of horrifying and mysterious deaths, she encounters the vengeful supernatural spirit that possesses its victims, claims their souls, then passes its curse to another person in a spreading chain of horror. Now she must find a way to break the supernatural spell or become the next victim of an ancient evil that never dies but forever lives to kill. The Grudge, American, Sarah Michelle Gellar. Y'all know it. It's in the DVD drawer. Rasmus says, hello, old school shinobi. It's saying that Trump needs to do his hair. David says, hi, Polly. Shin says, hey, Paul. Rasmus says, hope everyone is doing well, with a little happy face there. Crystal says, hi, Phil. Hi, everyone. Rasmus says, I love The Grudge. Old School Shin says, LMAO, I don't do roadkill on orange clowns. Yeah, that's true. Rasmus says, LOL. Crystal says, yeah, I made it to your live again, finally. LOL, it's been a while. Tim says, hey, Phil, thanks for stopping by my live today. Great to see you. No problem, guys. Check out This Is Wheel Life. Go visit his channel. Rasmus says, spreading chain of horror. Old School says, hey, Crystals and Wheel Life. What was in the fright box that was from Demons, Phil? What was in the fright box that was from Demons? I don't know the answer to that. Paul Phoenix coming in with 10 pounds. Super chat. Libra to Tutmet X Inferis. Don't exactly know what that means, but thank you so much, Paul Phoenix, for the super chat. You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. Crystal says, hey, old school. Shin says, have you ever seen Banshee Chapter? The message from Spirit made me think of it. I've never seen Banshee Chapter. Cody, what's up? Hey, Mr. Phil. Welcome, welcome, Cody. Everyone go visit H&S Collectibles channel. He puts out incredible content. Crystal says, hi, Rasman. Michael is here. Oh my freaking God. Phil, Tuesday night stream, you know what? I just thought I'd make a coffee, come on with you guys, see what's going on, see what everybody's doing today, try and work my way through this freaking drawer of old DVDs. Because I want to see what I have. I want you guys to see what I have. If that makes sense. Shin says, Cody and Heroic Waffles, welcome, welcome, welcome. Crystal says, hi, Cody. Hi, Michael. I'm going to just short form everybody's names. Hope that's okay. Rasman says, no, Shin, would be cool to see one, though. Cody says, hey, old school. David says, hey, Cody. Michael says, hey, I am shocked to see you, Phil. Don't be shocked. Crystal says, hi, David. Cody says, yo, Dave. Paul says, have you seen The Void? I do own The Void on Blu-ray. Amazing, amazing movie. The practical effects in The Void remind me a lot of the practical effects in the movie The Thing from John Carpenter, especially in the hospital. Love, love, love that movie. Rasmus says, hello, Crystal. Happy face. Shin says, check out Banshee chapter then. Quite good. I'm going to take a screenshot of that really quick. Banshee chapter. Banshee chapter. The cover does look really familiar to me. I might have watched that, but now it's screenshotted, so I'll definitely check it out again. Paul says pretty good Lovecraftian horror. I agree with that. A lot of good visuals in The Void as well. Crystal says, we love your stuff, Phil. Always awesome. Thank you so much, Crystal. I love your stuff too. Shin says The Void was fantastic. I agree with that. Rasmus says it's a movie. Then old school Shinobi happy face. I was thinking of Banshee. Paul says great practical effects. The Void. Cody says hi, Crystal. Dawn double L. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yo, Phil, what's up? Not much. What's up with you? Shin says no, it's a film somewhat rooted in real life happenings with CIA. Crosses Lovecraft with Hunter S. Thompson, the guy who played Buffalo Bill in Silence of the Lambs, is in it. That sounds really familiar. Crystal says hi, Dom. Paul says the ending reminded me of Fulci's The Beyond, my favorite Fulci movie of all time. David said The Void had good effects. I agree with David. Cody says we're watching the Creepshow series tonight. That's awesome. John has entered into the fun. He says, hey guys. Hey John. Paul says Banshee chapter is good. Crystal says Creepshow is awesome. Where are we here? Rasmus says, okay, The Void sounds good. I may have seen it already. Bad habit watching the movie, not paying attention to the title. Crystal says, so is Tales from the Dark Side. I agree with that. Cody says, yeah, Tales is great, the series and the movie. I agree with that too. Paul says, how was the Creepshow animated special? I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen it yet either, Paul. Paul says, I tapped out after a couple of episodes of the first season. You should revisit that season. Don Double L says, all good in Da Hood. Great to hear, Don. Glad you're doing well. Cody says, haven't watched it yet. Heard they might do a Christmas special too. Don says, hi, Crystal. Rasmus says, hello, John. Shin says, hello, John and Duan. David says, I like the stories in Animated Creepshow. Don't like the animation, though. All right, I'm not going to read these next two, but you got Grudge 2 on DVD. I don't have this on Blu-ray. It's probably not worth my time to upgrade it if it even is out on Blu-ray. But that is Grudge 2. And of course, Grudge 3, You Can't Escape the Curse. Good cover art on that one. Movie is probably crap, but I have the DVD. Nonetheless, that is Grudge Part 3. Rasmus says, right now I'm watching Dark Shadows. That's awesome. Shin says, yeah, I didn't watch it, but saw about it and didn't like the look of the animation either. Some people have said that, I've heard. Paul says, Phil, definitely check that 50 States of Fright. Yeah, I really want to watch that. Good short stories. Could have made good length movies. Rasmus says, wow, all the grudges. Shin says, ooh, Dark Shadows. Always wanted to watch that from beginning to end. I never have watched it. Cody says, back to the horror family time and the show. Have a good stream. Peace out, Cody. Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate you. Michael says, Phil, work tomorrow. I am off 6 days straight. Need it. Yes, I work tomorrow for a long, long time. So it won't be a late stream, guys. Paul says Sam Raimi produced. Yes, it is. John says I love OG Dark Shadows. Paul says Raimi. Old School says see ya Cody. Yes, by Cody. Rasmus says Shinobi. The beginning was the best. It gets a bit silly at parts. Michael says, love you, brother. Thanks. Love you too, bud. David says, I enjoyed the 90s Dark Shadow series made for TV. Paul says, I worked the graveyard shift ditch digger. Yeah, John says, Rasman. Rasman, do you own it? Do you own it? Next up, we have The Guardian. I have this movie on Blu-ray. This is my DVD copy. The reason I kept this DVD copy is because it contains audio commentary with the director William Friedkin and Dennis Bartok, which they did not port over to the Blu-ray, which was like, why? But anyways, besides the point, I still have it on DVD. William Friedkin, the Academy Award-winning director of The Exorcist, delivers a new kind of fairy tale for adults. When a wealthy young couple hires a beautiful nanny for their newborn baby, the cradle will rock in a secret of unspeakable horror based upon the best-selling novel The Nanny and featuring gruesome state-of-the-art special effects. The Guardian is a classic chiller of erotic intrigue and shocking twists. I actually saw this in grade 11 on a band trip, no less. So we were on a band trip, staying at a hotel. There was a movie theater right across the parking lot. It was in Boston, the city of Boston. So I saw this in the city of Boston in grade 11. So that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Rasmus says, no, I watch it on Amazon Prime with commercials. It's free. Shin says, I grew up in a family where we watched tape soap operas over dinner each night, so I'm usually too silly, LOL. Paul says, I wish Rob Zombie would make that werewolf woman of the SS movie. I agree with that. I actually have the original, the woman of the SS. Rasmus says, LOL, and directed at Shin. So do I with Nick Cage's Fu Manchu, says Shin. John says, I got Prime. I need to watch Dark Shadows again. Rasmus says, Shin, did you see the Days of Our Lives when Deidre Hill was possessed? I remember that. Shin says The Guardian was good. Friedkin's direction is always great. I agree with that. Paul says She Devils of the SS, 1973. Pretty sure that's maybe the one I have. It's the blonde-haired temptress in the concentration camp. Shin says, no, we watched All My Children in One Life to Live. On one of them, they traveled to the center of the earth and found a secret civilization called Eternia. Eterna. You do, Phil. Cool. Oh, cool. Old school Shin. Says Rasman. Yeah, I remember that. Possessed. We got Hannibal, starring good old Anthony Hopkins. This is a special edition. It comes with a slew of special features, and it does come with a one-page little write-up. I saw this in the theater. I remember seeing Hannibal in the theater. I saw Silence of the Lambs in the theater. That was a lot of fun. It says, the silence has been broken. Thrilling, absorbing, and entertaining. This follow-up to Silence of the Lambs is an audacious success. Anthony Hopkins is perverse perfection in his return to the role of Dr. Hannibal Lecter, the sophisticated killer who comes out of hiding to draw FBI agent Clarice Starling into high-stakes battle that will test her strength, cunning, and loyalty. Drenched in terror, suspense, and shocking visual effects, Hannibal is a compelling film as you will ever see. I don't know about that, but it is what it is. It's Hannibal. Like I said, wealth of special features there. Crazy, crazy, crazy. We're getting crazy. Big Lecter fan says, David, I am well aware. Shin says, there was some other soap in the 90s where a doll came to life and there was an evil witch, forget the name. Rasman says, it was so fake, it was good. Like when people are supposed to be dead on DS, you see them breathing. It's so funny, I love it. Paul says, quite a few Nazi exploitation movies on my list to watch. There's a lot. Rasman says, cool, John. I love it black and white. Now I'm watching it color and it's not the same. Shin says I have a few of those in Nosploitation too. I remember after Tarantino brought attention to B movies, a ton of small press box sets with obscure classics started coming out. I remember that. Rasman says, I saw Hannibal. It was okay. Next up, Hannibal Rising. I remember nothing of this movie. I know I've seen it at least once. This is the unrated cut from Alliance. Basically a prequel of sorts. And the writing's too small. I'm not going to read that. Everyone knows about Hannibal Rising. Does it have any goodies? Nope. It's unrated. Probably should give it another visit, but whatever. Are those fangs? No. I didn't see that one. I can't remember it. Hannibal Rising is chocolate ice cream, says David. Shin says Hannibal was just okay, but a bad Ridley Scott movie is still better than a lot of other big budget stuff. I do agree with that. Shin says, agreed Dave. Paul says, I never bothered with any Hannibal movies after Manhunter's silence. Manhunter is fantastic. Fantastic. David says chocolate ice cream, lol, poo. Nope, chocolate ice cream. It's a nice little dollop of chocolate ice cream. I'm like Mads Mikkelsen, though. Great actor, says Paul. Rasman says, lol, Oh, gross, lol. Foo. Fool. Phil. Foo. Phil. The Haunting in Connecticut. The Haunting in Connecticut. The Haunting in Connecticut. Let me know in the chat. Are you from Connecticut? I'd love to know that. If there's anyone in the chat right now that lives in or is from Connecticut. Based on a chilling true story. Unlikely. The Haunting in Connecticut charts one family's terrifying real-life encounter with the dark forces of the supernatural. When the Campbell family moves to upstate Connecticut, they soon learn that their charming Victorian home has a disturbing history. Not only was the house a transformed funeral parlor where inconceivable acts occurred, but the owner's clairvoyant son, Jonah, served as a demonic messenger, providing a gateway for spiritual entities to cross over. Now unspeakable terror awaits when Jonah, the boy who's committed with the dead, returns to unleash a new kind of horror on the innocent and unsuspecting family. It's The Haunting in Connecticut. There's some special features there, guys. This is a 2-discer, and it does come with a digital code, which is probably long out of date. But yeah, uncut version with digital copy based on true events. I don't know how true it is. I'm getting excited for the next couple guys. They're good ones. Valhalla Rising sounds familiar. Paul Rasmus says, "Oh my god, I come from CT and that was a totally awesome movie." That's awesome. Paul says, "Not horror, but one of the grossest scenes I've seen in that movie." Rasmus says, "I do Phil. Anyone else here? That's awesome." Connecticut. Shin says, "No, but that's on my list, Paul. Love Nicholas Winding reference. Did anyone else see Neon Demon?" I did. I like Neon Demon. It was wild. Paul says he cuts a guy's stomach open and pulls out his insides. No. Michael says, "Phil, you the man, brother." No, you the man. Rasmus says the boy was dying of cancer. Paul says the woman in Half in Terrifier is up there too. LOL. Yeah, that's a good scene in Terrifier for sure. Rasmus says, and he could see the dead easier than others. It was a great movie. Paul says, hype for Terrifier 2 and The Collected. Yeah, I'm hyped for both of those, Paul. Jay Bartlett has arrived. Everyone go check out Jay Bartlett on social media. He kills it with the Star Wars, man. He loves his Star Wars, and boy, he is awesome. He says, "Crush it, Phil." I'm crushing it. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing something. Paul says Collector 3. Very aware of that. David says, Mads fans, have you all seen Polar? No idea what you're talking about. Shin says, didn't know about the Collector 3. Those movies are great. I agree. Paul says Neon Demon is great. I love it. I agree. Shin says Neon Demon was a trip. I agree. Paul says Reverend's movies all have great soundtracks. Okay. He must be a director. Refn, one of my favorite directors right now. Shin says, hey, Jay, Star Wars, most def, have to check that out. Yeah, go check out Jay Bartlett. He's awesome. Yeah. Rasmus says, love the shirt, Phil. Is that the Crypt Keeper? It is kind of a version of Creep Show. Creep from the movie Creep Show. Little bit different from the Crypt Keeper, but I guess along the same lines. Shin says, Refn did a great book on old school film poster art, which is beautiful. Yeah, I'll show that. David says, Mad Milkinson plays aging assassin in Polar. Rasmus says, love it. Jay says, Creepshow 1 is so freaking wicked, man. I agree with that, Jay. I agree 100%. I love me some Creepshow. Is it at Jay Bartlett? Says Rasmus. How do people follow you, Jay? I know you're on a few socials there. If you want to go ahead and here, I can let's mod Jay. Jay, you're now modded, so if you want to drop any social media, just his name on YouTube. If you want, Jay, you can drop your channel link in the little message there. Rasmus says, Jay says, just my name. Happy face. Rasmus says, hello at the Q's Reviews. Happy face. The Q's in here. Hey, Phil, brother. Just jumping in to say, hey, all liked and shared. I do apologize, but cannot stay. We'll watch the replay. Take care, all. Q, thanks for popping in here. You're freaking awesome, dude. Refn, did Bronson drive Only God Forgives and Neon Demon? Jay says, Michael Olivia has joined. Is the Stranded Arrow of Creepshow 2 worth getting? The standard arrow, if you don't have the deluxe arrow, then I guess the standard arrow is fine. Jay Bartlett dropped his link. Everyone make sure to hit that link and go visit Jay Bartlett's channel. Show him some love. Phil, what are your thoughts on Reanimator? My all-time fave. I'll just show you my Reanimator here. We got the Arrow Deluxe Limited Edition Reanimator box set. Long out of print. And this thing's freaking awesome. Comes with a comic book replica, I guess, of Reanimator. Nice little comic representation of Reanimator. And it comes with the Blu-ray and the DVD there. And then it comes with, what else does it come with? Some postcards. You have the reagent there. You have some zombie intestines there. You have Herbert West and Headless Dr. Hill. You have Girlfriend and Sidekick. And Back to the Beginning. And then we also have a little pamphlet book on everything Reanimator, a little write-up, probably director, yada yada. But yeah, grew up with this movie, Jay. Love Reanimator, love everything about the whole trilogy. And yeah, that's my thoughts on Reanimator. Excellent, excellent movie. Shin says, hey, Jay Michael, welcome. Jay Michael says, hey. Paul says, Jesus Christ, Vampire Hunter. I've seen that. Jay says, hot dude. Paul says, Jeffrey Combs, such a great actor. I agree with that. I also really like him in Castle Freak. Cellar Dweller. Cellar Dweller, he's fantastic. Shin says, oh, damn, look at that comic. That's a shite. Jay says, man, I love that set. I love that set. John says, I wish I had Reanimator. There's other ways to get Reanimator. There's the really nice looking steelbook. Let's see if I can grab this for you guys. Ah, what did I do? Oh, God. That's the steelbook. Really, really good looking steelbook. I believe you can probably still buy this for a half decent price. Really, really good art on the back there. And this comes with a little book too, stuff like that. Blu-ray. I think it's just Blu-ray. But yeah, it comes with a little book. Exact same book that's in that other set. That's funny. Never realized that. Probably different artwork, but you get the point. You get your hands on the steelbook. All right. It's turning into a Reanimator stream, guys. Paul says Bride of Reanimator is lots of fun. I agree with that. I also have the deluxe edition of that. Jay says, did you like Bride of Reanimator? Yeah, I like it. Phil, changing gears. I need to know your favorite version of Jason. We'll take this big statue down. That is my favorite look of Jason, part 7. He looks freaking awesome. This is the 15-inch NECA resin statue. Don't know if it says the limit. 1,000. Did I see that right? Yeah, I have 448. 448 of 1,000. Comes with an axe that kind of goes in this. You see the little cut there in the stump behind them. Sometimes it kind of just wedges in, and other times it's a real pain in the ass. But yeah, my favorite look of Jason, my favorite unmasked Jason, like part 7 unmasked, he looks just so mean. I would not want to meet that at night in a cemetery, that's for sure. Freaking creepy. He's heavy too. He's probably the heaviest Jason. Because he's waterlogged. I do have the 18-inch Jason of that as well. The motion activated. Paul says he was great as the Doctor in House on Haunted Hill remake. I agree with that. DTN2 Horror says, I haven't seen Bride of Reanimator yet. You should. Paul says, I love the bit when they're watching the cameras and he shows up on screen and like twitches. John says, that's cool, Phil. Thank you so much, John. Paul says, that bit is terrifying. Shin says, Combs was in a movie called Detonator, playing an uptight scientist working on a futuristic motorcycle. Heather Thomas is his girlfriend. Fun movie. I've never seen that. Shin says he was in the great Robot Jocks too. I like Robot Jocks. Beyond Reanimator is LOL in the prison. Yes, it is LOL in the prison. Rasman says, okay, Jay, cool channel. Welcome to Primetime Horror has arrived. Anthony, or no, George. George has arrived. He says, hey, Phil, do you like Blood Rage? Yes, I do. I watch it around Thanksgiving time. Jay Bartlett says, yeah, dude, that's an amazing statue. Thank you, Jay. Rasman says, oh, wow, love the chain and his spine showing. Yeah. I have two 18-inch Jasons, says Paul. Here's the big boy. Motion activated. All right. I love that his spine shows. I really hate the placement of where they put the screw to open the battery compartment. I hate the positioning of the switch because it's hard to find it. So, I mean, some of this plastic is like not even attached to the body. So they could have at least like built this plastic kind of over all this plastic to, like, they're trying to make this his backbone part of the spine to match this side. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense how they did that, but I can live with it. But yeah, real plastic chain here. He's pretty cool. He's pretty cool. Paul says I don't have that NECA. Shin says I remember that Beyond Reanimator seems like one of those bargain basement Eastern Europe productions. Oh, cool. Says Rasman. Shin says that's McFarlane, isn't it? That Jason. I thought it was a McFarlane, but then someone said it was a NECA. So I don't really know. I'm not going to look it up right now, but we'll say it's a McFarlane. Ross has entered. He says, "Hey, Phil, what's up, Ross?" Rasman says, "How do you sleep in your bedroom with that statue in there?" This is the spare bedroom. I have slept in here, though. I have no problem sleeping in here. When I was sick about a month ago, I slept in here for 4 nights just so I could, get some peace and quiet. David says, "I have seen Bride. I haven't seen Beyond Reanimator." Rasmus says, "Hello, George. Happy face." Paul says there was meant to be a 4th house of the Reanimator, but it was shelved. Paul says, "I think they're rebooting House." Rasmus says, "Oh, cool." Rasmus says, eh. Rasmus says, "LOL." Christian Hannah Horror has entered. He says, "Hey, Phil, everyone go and visit Christian Hannah Horror's channel. He puts out great content on the daily." And yeah, great horror fan, Christian Hannah Horror, for sure. John says, "Hey, Christian." Rasmus says, "Hello, Christian Hannah Horror. Happy face." Shin says that McFarlane Jason was from about 23 years ago. I think McFarlane was just finding his way back then at that point with the sculpting. I have the one with the brown jacket and the black leather jacket with extra head wrapped. Oh, okay. That's the remake. I think that's the remake. Raymond says, "Good evening, everyone. What is going on, Last Pharaoh?" Rasman says, "Message retracted." Jay says, "Are you getting the NECA Ultimate Part 7? Yes, I am." Paul says, "I used to have Itchy the Killer poster on my wall, and my grandma always used to come in my room and say, 'How can you sleep with that face on your wall?' She thought it was so scary." Itchy the Killer. So I have the Itchy the Killer blood bag edition. So it actually came in a blood bag, 2-disc. The blood has all dried up and gone away. So now it's just kind of a bag edition. But I do keep them in the blood bag. Over the years, the blood dried out. This is probably over 15 years old, this thing. Still got air in it, so it's cool. You're kind of like, where did the blood go? Because it didn't like leak out. You can see like all the residue of it evaporating. So somehow the water inside just evaporated and made all the blood evaporate. If that makes sense. Rasmus says, "Oh my God, I have to go. Phil, be safe and happy Thanksgiving to you all in here. Happy face. If you celebrate it, please be safe, everyone. By now, happy face." You too, Rasman. You're cool. I like you. You're great. Paul says, "Wow, nice." Paul says, "Never seen that." Paul says, "Phil has the best collection." I don't agree with that. There are a lot better collections than mine, but thank you so much. Shin says, "That is a NECA fig." I have the 7-inch McFarlane Jason from the late 90s Movie Maniacs line. I have the Cult Classics, exact same sculpt where he's beside the tree stump with the axe and everything, just like I just showed, but the Movie Maniacs, or no, Cult Classics Series 1, I believe. Just on a smaller scale, but that 18-inch one is badass no matter who made it. Shin says, "Bye, Rasman's message from Spirit. See you later." See you later. I'll see you later. Okay, these next movies, guys. Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. This is the 20th anniversary special edition 2-disc set from Dark Sky Films. I do have multiple copies of this movie on Blu-ray. This is Michael Rooker in one of his best roles, in my opinion, as Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. Another reason I kept this one is for the artwork, because I believe my other one doesn't have that artwork. Does come with reversible cover art, which is the one you're used to, kind of the same picture that's on that disc there. That's your reversible cover art. And it says Michael Rooker is unforgettable as Henry, a soft-spoken loner with a cool exterior masking an inner rage that boils at blast furnace intensity. When fellow ex-con Otis invites Henry to move into his Chicago apartment, he becomes a willing participant in Henry's senseless random killing sprees. Meanwhile, Otis' unsuspecting sister Becky is smitten with Henry, whose broken childhood mirrors her own. Masterfully directed by John McNaughton, Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer is a chilling character study of a mass murderer that continues to shock and disturb 20 years after its debut. So that is Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer, once again starring Michael Rooker as Henry. Horror Freak London, what is going on? Hey Phil, bit late to party tonight. Glad you're here. Look on, it's 2:20 a.m. Got raging toothache. Oh man, toothaches are bad. I had a toothache, had to get it yanked. So I'm right there with you, man. Get her yanked. Can't deal with a toothache. 187 Scotty, 187 Henry. Paul says, Henry, one of the most disturbing movies I've seen. It stuck with me. Yeah, it's a freaking great movie. That and the Poughkeepsie tapes. I also have that on Blu-ray. Paul says, have you seen Tony the London Serial Killer? No. Horror Freak London says he lives near me. Ooh. Paul says, at the end of Henry, you think he liked the woman, but then he dumps her too in a suitcase. Yep. Spoiler alert for all those who haven't seen Henry. Horror Freak London says Yank is tomorrow. Can't wait. Can't wait for Yank. Don't know really what that means, but now this next one, guys, a lot of you might not know this movie exists. If you do, let me know in the chat. If you don't, let me know in the chat. I'd love to hear if you know about this one, but this is Henry 2. This is Henry 2 Portrait of a Serial Killer from director of Ed Gein and the Hillside Strangler. Not starring Michael Rooker as Henry. But it says, Henry 2 Portrait of a Serial Killer picks up where the original left off. Henry takes a thankless job at a Port O John company where he meets husband and wife Kai and Cricket. They take pity on the homeless drifter and offer him a room in the home they share with their emotionally fragile niece, Louisa. Henry learns that Kai has a side job and as an arsonist for hire, setting up phony insurance scams to make money for their boss, Reuter. He agrees to join Kai, and on one of their first outings, they discover 2 squatters in a building that's been marked for fire. It is then that Henry introduces Kai to his life's work and the murders begin. Kai has never killed anyone before, but he turns into a willing accomplice. Initially, the 2 men work well together, but as the killing sprees increase in their depravity, it's more than Kai can handle. He wants out, but he's in too deep. That is Henry 2, Portrait of a Serial Killer. Obviously, nowhere close to being as good as the first one. This guy, Neil Giantoli from Shawshank Redemption, plays Henry in this one, and he is no Michael Rooker. Paul says, I never watched this. I heard it's bad. It's pretty bad. Shin says, Henry 2, hello, Mary Lou. Paul says the scene in Henry when they're watching the video of them killing the family is so effed up. Yeah. Yep. Henry's a messed up movie for sure. We got a couple, I'm not going to go through these guys, but we got a couple releases of Hollow Man with Kevin Bacon, kind of a riff on The Invisible Man. This is a special edition. Elizabeth Shue, Kevin Bacon, Think You're Alone, Think Again. Comes with a wealth of special features there. And it comes with a one-page write-up there. So that's Hollow Man. Then we have another DVD of Hollow Man, which is Elizabeth Shue, Kevin Bacon, Director's Cut. Another DVD of Hollow Man. And they also did a Hollow Man 2. So this one starred Christian Slater. Christian Slater, Hollow Man 2. More Hollow Man. Let me know in the chat, did you like the Hollow Man movies? Paul says the random shots of dead women with that haunting theme. Yeah, the very beginning of the Henry is crazy. Crazy movie. It was banned in a number of countries for a while. Paul says I like Hollow Man. Paul says the rape scene is effed up though. Shin says I was just reading something about what was the best Invisible Man film. Hollow Man was getting some props. Paul says Rua Miltra is hot. Shin says Hollow Man 2 wasn't altogether bad. Jay says, do you have Memoirs of an Invisible Man? No, but I do need to pick that up. I think Scream Factory recently put out a Blu-ray of that. Chevy Chase, I love. I wish they'd put out a good Blu-ray of Nothing But Trouble, which I have on DVD. A lot of people hate Nothing But Trouble. I really, really like it. Next, we got House of the Dead. And they tried to kind of make the video game into a movie. Didn't really work. They did a lot of like Matrix-y shots with them fighting the zombies. And it just goes on and on for way too long. But it is what it is. It is House of the Dead. And they even gave you a one-page booklet. House of the Dead, one-page booklet. And I don't know why I bought this. This was quite a while ago, but I did buy House of the Dead Part 2. Which I do not remember at all. Let me know in the chat. Have you seen House of the Dead Part 2? No Guts, No Glory. Still haven't watched The Invisible Man. I really liked The Invisible Man, Paul. It was a nice update to The Invisible Man for sure. Jay says it's on sale on Amazon. Paul says the new one. Paul says House of the Dead based on the video game. Paul says House of the Dead is my favorite arcade game. Paul says by the genius Yui Bowl, lol. Paul says check out his other work. Paul says laughing. Shin says House of the Dead is so goofy it's watchable. Shin says didn't know about the sequel. Yeah, House of the Dead 2, guys. Ang Lee's Hulk is in here. 2-disc special edition of Ang Lee's Hulk. I picked this up because I thought it was kind of like an Invasion of the Body Snatchers type of movie. It wasn't really, but kind of was. But it's Daniel Craig and Nicole Kidman, The Invasion. Kind of a loose play on Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Nice cover art, if anything. Don't really remember much about that movie. And we got one more movie to go before a quick intermission. Tristan Paul says Hulk. Welcome, Tristan, to the live stream. Paul says Ang Lee so versatile. Shin says my goal is to own every film in which Clint Howard has appeared. Ooh, good luck on getting Ticks unless you have it already. Ticks is hard to get on Blu-ray and DVD. They're both out of print. I have the Blu-ray. That invasion didn't leave an impression on me either. Paul says, evil speak. I do have evil speak. Billy M, what is going on? Welcome, 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 Billy. He says, hey, buddy. Billy, let me know in the chat. Have we seen each other at work recently? Let me know in the chat. Pretty sure I know who you are. Old School Shin says, I would love to own Ticks. Oh, it's so good. It's just hard to get it at a good price. Jay says, Ice Cream Man, I have that with slipcover. Tristan Paul says, I really want to see the new Candyman. Me too. Shin says, used to have such a thing for Ame Dolenz. Billy M, yeah, it's yeah boy. Billy M, what is going on? Thanks for swinging on by. Shin says, hey Billy, what's up? Anthropomantic Fiend says, hi, Heart. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You came just in time for intermission because it's intermission now. So feel free to chat in the chat group. You might even see me in the chat during intermission. You never know where I will pop up next. We're going to leave you with Pennywise. And just so everybody knows, the super chat is active. So if you want to contribute to my channel, feel free to do so. Your message will be saved at the top for a certain amount of time. And yeah, you'll get some super chat bell after that. So I will be back in 3 minutes and 487 seconds. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. Oh, no bell. No bell prize. I guess you guys win the Nobel Prize. Billy says hello. Shin says, what's up, Anthrophene? Anthrophene says, plays intermission music from Monty Python. Old school Shin says, behave, Phil will be spying on us. Anthrophene says, Shin, hey, Paul says Phil needs to take his serum or he will change into the Wolfman. That is true. Tristan, Paul says, this is creepy. Paul says, transform. Fiend says, so, Mr. Pennywise, sir, eat any interesting children lately? Old School Shin says the meat was making too much noise in the next room. Fiend says, I feel like Pennywise is challenging us to a staring contest. Phil's Creepy Videos says, the meat is dead. Made sure of this before I started the stream. True story. Shin says, I feel like we'd lose the contest. Paul says, if it was the Tim Curry Pennywise, I'd be terrified. Shin says, LMAO Phil. Paul says, this Pennywise just not scary. Fiend says, shh, Paul, he might hear you. Don't offend the cosmic fear and hatred clown. Paul says, Puppet Master character Dr. Death is getting his own spin-off movie. Should be fun. Full moon movies are fun. Puppet Master movies always are. Fiend says, I have the figure of Blade from Puppet Master sitting next to me on my bookshelf right now. That's awesome. Paul says, Blade is great. Paul says, Blade is probably the scariest looking doll. Demented Pictures says, good evening. Welcome, 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 Demented Pictures. Fiend says, evening, Demented Pictures. Shin says, Demented Pictures is ready for viewing. Demented Pictures says, for viewing? For viewing? Don't listen to me, Siri. I'll be there when I get home. For viewing? No, for killing. Paul says, anyone seen Dolls 1987? Yes, I have Dolls on Blu-ray. Love that movie. Demented Pictures says, you've heard of me? Der Matratezan Matzi says, good evening from Germany. Cool dude face. Welcome, welcome, welcome from Germany. Ollie Uncut. D-Fee. I know them all. Demented Picture says, ah. Tristan Paul says, my favorite scary movie is Scream. Shin says, oh, hell yeah, Dolls. Another great Stuart Gordon. Paul says, demonic toys. Anthrophene says, Siri always listens at the most inopportune times. I agree with that. She's always listening. Dollman versus demonic toys. Dollman versus demonic toys. I don't remember much about this one, but it has the guy from Lost, Dominic Monaghan, has Angus Scrimm and Ron Perlman, and it is called I Sell the Dead, Never Trust a Corpse. And it says, with Century Justice, has finally caught up to grave robbers Arthur Blake and Willie Grimes. With the specter of the guillotine looming over him, young Blake confides in visiting clergyman Father Duffy, recounting 15 years of adventure in the resurrection trade. His tale leads from humble beginnings as a young boy stealing trinkets from corpses to partnership with seasoned ghoul Willie Grimes as they hunt creatures unwilling to accept their place in the ground. The colorful and peculiar history of Grimes and Blake is one filled with adventure, horror, and vicious rivalries that threaten to put all involved in the very graves they're trying to pilfer. I Sell the Dead. This comes with a comic book, which is really, really cool. Really, really kind of thick comic book of I Sell the Dead. Don't remember a lot about this one. I did just watch Cemetery Man, aka De La Morte the other day. The story of this kind of reminds me of that movie quite a little bit, but I will have to rewatch this for sure. Tristan Paul says Floor Gang. Durr says, I hope you're well, Phil. I am well. Paul says, I've seen this. Paul says it's bad. Okay. Theme says, I love all the Scream movies. Not a bad film in the franchise, in my opinion. Demented Pictures says, hello, Matt Stridden. We get. Durr says, Demented Pictures. Gut earn Durr. Shin says, this is one of those movies where I love everyone in the cast, but something about it just screamed, stay away. Theme says, I need to check out more Angus Scrimm movies that aren't Phantasm movies. Any suggestions? I know he's in Subspecies, which I really need to watch. Yep, Subspecies is the one I'd go to. Shin says, Vampirella. Demented Pictures says, Murr gets good. Shin says, Vampirella is based on an old comic character, but the movie is pure cheese. Scrim is in the beginning, good for some fun. Paul says, anyone watch Slasher? I did not. Demented Pictures says, Instalagung Dutch, it's mein Drit Sprach. I Sell the Dead. Never heard of it before. From which year is this movie? I Sell the Dead. I hate when it doesn't say the year. (2008). I Sell the Dead. 2008. David says the Vampirella figures are nice. Don't own any. Neither do I. Demented Pictures. Not a bad attempt to fill. Fiend says, ooh, yes, I love what I've read in the Vampirella novels. Definitely need to check out the movie. I adore all things vampiric. Durr says, thank you, Phil. Thumbs up. Tristan Paul says, what's your favorite scary movie? My favorite horror movie of all time is The Exorcist. Shin says, the best Vampirella fig I've seen was done by Claiborne Moore in the 90s. Might be expensive now. Demented Pictures says, Google me. Ooh, Google me, Google me. Let's Google Demented Pictures, see what she's all about. Or he. Demented Picatures. Ooh. Yeah, that looks like you. Demented Pictures on Facebook. Demented Pictures YouTube. Demented Pictures TV series. Lots of Demented Pictures. AminoApps.com. Takes the fandom to a next level by giving in-depth factoids. Cool. He, LOL. Paul, ooh, it's a girl. Nope, it's a guy. DTN2 Horse says Dean Knight 333 has some cool Vampirella figures. Demented Picture says, no, I have a Winky. Shin says the darker side of entertainment. Dermatzi says it's cold actually in Canada. It's very cold here. It is currently snowing. Tristan says facts. A trauma movie. You guys like trauma? This is in the drawer due to the fact that it has special features on it that don't come on the Blu-ray. I forget what those special features are. Luther the Geek, my favorite trauma movie. A young country boy is plunged into the depths of homicidal madness after witnessing the strange exploits of a carnival geek, a caged drunk so desperate for whiskey that he bites the heads off of live chickens in front of a freak show audience. 30 years later, Luther is all grown up and out on parole after spending his childhood behind bars for a series of grisly murders. Armed with a pair of razor-sharp metal dentures and only able to communicate through chicken clucks, Luther restarts his bloody rampage as he terrorizes the citizens of a small town and takes a young mother and her family hostage in their isolated farmhouse. Featuring one of the most intense endings ever put on film, Luther the Geek is good, gory fun in the splatter flick tradition. Luther the Geek, my favorite trauma movie. Santa Sangra. I do have Santa Sangra. Paul says The Dark Side of the Moon. Demented Pitcher says Canada. You know my buddy Jay from Bloodbath and Beyond. I know of Bloodbath and Beyond. I've watched their stuff. I'm not buddies with Jay or anything. Paul says Iron Sky. I like that movie. It's a lot of fun. I still haven't seen Iron Sky Part 2. Shin says The Lunatic is on the grass. Shin says, LOL, so thirsty for whiskey. I'm gonna bite the heads off chickens. Paul says Santa Sangra. Shin says, haven't seen this. Trauma sounds good. Shin says, Jodorowsky rocks. Shin says, El Topo. Tristan says, E. Demented Pitcher says, we've done a few vids together. That's cool. Paul says, I haven't seen part 2 either. I will soon. What is up next, guys? What is up next? This is a fun one. Adrian Lynn film, Jacob's Ladder. Tim Robbins. Always loved that poster art, kind of out of his hallucinations there, the shaky heads. Director Adrian Lynn takes you on an intense, horrifying journey with a shocking ending that will haunt you forever. Tim Robbins is Jacob Singer, a man who lives in a nightmare, wounded in Vietnam. He's now back at home in New York City, torn between the memories of his son and terrifying wartime demons. Jacob is slowly losing his grip on reality. His beautiful girlfriend, Elizabeth Pina, only adds confusion to his life, drawing him into a web of sexual intrigue. But ultimately, it's his friend Louis, Danny Aiello, who turns out to be the only one Jacob can truly count on. That is Jacob's Ladder. And it comes with a little, what is this? Like a little J card, something or other. J for Jacob. Shin says, I did not care for Iron Sky 2, really rather slow. Paul says, Jacob's Ladder is amazing. I agree with that. The remake was a bit of a letdown. Demented Pictures says, not the remake. I agree with that. Paul says, didn't watch the new one. I know it's bad. It's watchable, but not the greatest. Shin says, I forgot they remade this. Never saw the new one. The original is outstanding. I remember I wanted to see this so bad after seeing the commercials. Fiend says, I haven't gotten into a lot of trauma. I really enjoy the over-the-top acting, not so much the gross-outs and toilet humor. Shin says Toxic Avenger and Kabuki Man might be more your cup of tea than Anthrofiend. The unrated Jason Goes to Hell on DVD. This is the theatrical and the unrated cuts. Y'all know Jason Goes to Hell. I'm not going to bother reading that. Comes with a little chapter listings J card there. Now that I have the new Friday the 13th box set from Scream Factory, I can probably give this one up. I know it goes for big bucks, or it was. My replacement discs are in the mail as we speak. There was a missing cut scene out of the unrated cut in the new box set, so they issued a replacement disc for that. But always loved the cover art on Jason Goes to Hell. Such an iconic imagery. And I always laughed at the chrome-looking mask on Jason Goes to Hell. And then he eventually does get the chromed out mask in Jason X. So I wonder if that might be a little foreshadowing there. What do you guys think? Let me know in the chat. Is that foreshadowing? Tristan says, oh no. Demented Pictures says the remake was an utter violation of its source. Currently working on a vid that will be smitting it. Paul says the drug in Jacob's Ladder is based on a real drug called BZ. David says, have you seen Daniel Isn't Real? It stars Tim Robbins' son. He was also in Halloween 2018 as the kid with the tattoo. I have seen that. Paul says also MK Ultra stuff. Shin says that MK Ultra was the basis of Banshee Chapter 2. Fiend says I do need to get into Toxie and Kabuki Man. Yeah, only trauma I've seen is Terra Firmer. Dermatzi says I love Jason Goes to Hell. Shin says I read about Daniel Isn't Real. Thanks for reminding me, Dave. Got to check that out. John says my replacement disc has not been mailed yet. Tristan Paul says Jason Goes to Hell is a big DS of a movie. Hey, some people like it, some people hate it. I'm okay with it. Shin says I like the new Line Friday movies. Paul says Jason Goes to Hell ending with Freddy. Yeah, sets up Freddy versus Jason. A lot of people think this is a crap movie. This is Jennifer's Body unrated with Megan Fox. I pretty much just bought this because it had Megan Fox in it, and I'm not even going to attempt to read that teeny weeny little print. But it has special features, it has Megan Fox, it's Jennifer's Body, it's all over the place. I don't remember a lot of that movie. David says I like Jennifer's Body. It's a fun movie. Fiend says I really want to see Jennifer's Body. I actually think I'll quite like it. Yeah, some people like it. I like it for Megan Fox. Tristan Paul says never seen Jennifer's Body. Is it good? It's okay if you like Megan Fox. Paul says, of course, any movie with Megan Fox is worth a look. I agree with that. Definitely not horror, but it is in this DVD drawer. Collector's Series, Robin Williams, Jumanji. The original Jumanji. Shin says, hey guys, just a friendly reminder, try not to curse in the chat. The ghouls of YouTube corporate will track you down and make Terrifier look like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. That's true, and they'll probably pull my monetization for this video, so that really is crappy. Paul says, haven't watched HTE new Jumanji movies with The Rock. You're not missing much. Dermatzi says Jumanji, my favorite movie of Robin Williams. Tristan says LOL. Old School Shin says Robin Williams Jumanji is my favorite Jumanji. Mine too, for sure. I hope some of you know about this next movie I'm going to show. George Wendt is in this, along with Daniel Baldwin. King of the Ants. This is about a guy who George Wendt gives a job to painting, and then they kind of kidnap him and beat him up in a shed, keep him kidnapped there, and then he escapes, and then he comes back and wreaks his revenge. But they're not feeding him, so he like hallucinates about little ant creatures and crazy imagery there, kind of reminiscent of Naked Lunch, to me anyway. But he definitely gets his comeuppance in the end. If you have not seen King of the Ants, I highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun. And not too sure if there's a Blu-ray of King of the Ants, but if there was, I'd probably upgrade it. Upgrade. Tristan Paul says question. Paul says Lord of the Flies. Shin says another Stu Gordon joint, and I love, love, love Carrie Wurr. Yeah, he's in that. Paul says Naked Lunch is funny. Shin says I remember Stu Gordon was making a late career comeback with movies like this. Yes, he was, or he was trying to. Paul says Talking Asshole Naked Lunch. The Messengers. They get the farmhouse, growing corn, something, something, crows, writing way too small, possession, haunted house type of deal, attacking with the arms coming out, CGI. The Messengers. And then Messengers 2, the Scarecrow, the beginning of the end. More messengers, things coming out of the walls, haunting the house, possessing the family, killing everything in sight. Don't really remember the Messenger movies, but they're in my DVD drawer. Cronenberg's such a great director. I agree with that. Have you seen Frailty 2001? Yes, I own that on DVD. Frailty, a great movie. Need to upgrade that on Blu-ray for sure. Just haven't got around to it yet, guys. I haven't got around to it. Yeah, Matthew McConaughey and the guy from Aliens that passed away. What's his name? Old School Shin coming in with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Old School Shinobi. Greatly appreciated. Was not aware of Messengers 2, and here's my thank you for making me aware. Yeah, there's a Messengers 2. Thank you so much, Shin, for that super chat contribution to my channel. That's amazing. Dermatsy, I like Cronenberg's Rapid. Project Ellsworth, what's up, John? What's up, my dude? I'm good, man. I'm good. I don't know. I drank a coffee. I'm onto the Diet Coke now, and everything's going good. I work tomorrow, and I'm freaking out. Rabid was very cool. Yeah, I even like the Soka Sisters Rabid, the remake. I like the original Rabid a lot better than the remake, but Bill Paxton, David coming in with Bill Paxton. Rest in peace, Bill Paxton. Fiend says, need to get into Cronenberg 2. Where do you recommend starting? At the beginning. Cronenberg directed the Fly remake, which is fantastic. Rabid would be a good go-to. Shivers for some earlier stuff. Shin says, what's up, John? Fiend says, hey, John. John says, I've been in and out as I'm currently editing some Thanksgiving content. You do you, John. John says, hope all is well. All is well, John. Martin Shinobi, sup. Shin says Anthrofiend scanners might be a good start, or you can start at the very beginning with his Shivers. Yeah, I really like scanners as well. I have the Criterion Blu-ray box set of scanners, which is amazing. Tristan Paul says tomorrow is Wednesday, my dudes. Paul says, yeah, I recommend going through all of his films. Paul says Cronenberg. Fiend says, "Oh, curious, what are you doing for Thanksgiving? I'm already working on some Christmas stuff. Our Thanksgiving was in October because I'm Canadian, but happy Thanksgiving coming up to all my stateside friends." Tristan Paul says, "Sup project." Fiend says, "Alrighty, Shivers it is." Yeah, Vestron just put out Shivers. You can probably grab that still for pretty cheap on Blu-ray. Where are we here? We're almost done, guys. Almost done. I gotta write that super chat down that old school just gave me. Keeping track of all my super chatters. I plan on one day just going down the list and giving a big shout out video to all the super chatters contributing to my channel. I appreciate you guys. I should do a big, huge video. I'll drop all your links in the description box below. It'll be a great thing. What do we have here? So Mimic 1, I think I got rid of the DVD. Mimic 2 on DVD. And I'm pretty sure that Scream Factory just released a trilogy of all three, which I probably will end up picking up just to have part 2 and 3 on Blu-ray. 4 years ago, a cockroach spread plague threatened to decimate the child population of New York City. Then research biologists developed a species of Judas bugs engineered to mimic and overrun the diseased roaches in their grubby habitat. The plan worked until the creatures evolved to mimic their next prey, humans. They were all thought to be dead, but the mutated cockroaches have now undergone another unimaginable metamorphosis and are once again threatening to take over, bursting with amazing special effects and loaded with unstoppable excitement. You'll thrill to every moment of this pulse-pounding crowd pleaser. That is Mimic 2. Like I said before, I do have Mimic 1 on Blu-ray. Then, of course, you have Mimic 3, Sentinel. More Mimic fun. Of course, advertising the DVD for Mimic and Mimic 2. This is Mimic 3, Sentinel. The studio that thrilled you with the Scream, Hellraiser, and Children of the Corn movies now delivers Mimic 3, Sentinel, the third and the scariest entry in the unstoppably suspenseful and terrifying Mimic legacy. When residents of his apartment building begin to disappear, Marvin comes to believe the unthinkable. The mutant breed of giant carnivorous insects that once plagued society are back and beginning to revisit their devastation. Though he's confined to his room due to a severe illness, Marvin must rally whatever support he can in order to exterminate these horrifying creatures before he ends up their next victim. Filled with all new action and incredible eye-popping special effects, this terror-filled thriller is a must-see for all fans of intense big screen excitement. That is Mimic Part 3. Like I said, I believe Scream Factory released the trilogy on Blu-ray not long ago. So I'll have to look for that. Or maybe it was... Who was that? I don't know. Someone revealed it. Shin says, and Shivers just had a nice Vestron Blu-ray release still available at Walmart's. John says, hey Tristan. David says, hey John. John says, David, how are you, my friend? Paul says, Mimic, Del Toro, yes. Wild Will from Chesterfield. Welcome, 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 Wild Will. Dang, I always miss Phil's live streams. Well, you didn't today, buddy. Paul says, I will watch any movie by Del Toro. Shin says, howdy, Wild Will. Shin says, Del Toro is the best. David says, watching Hunted on Netflix and listening to Phil. Bean says, I love Del Toro. Crimson Peak is my favorite of his, but I love every movie of his I've seen. Shin says, one of the Mimic sequels has Lance Henriksen. Once I've gotten all Clint Howard movies, I want all films with Henriksen. That's awesome. Paul says Crimson Peak was great. Paul says I think Shape of Water is overrated. Paul says OF. Wild Will says what up, Phil followers? What's up, what's up, what's up, everybody? Shin says Shape of Water was good. Was kind of glad to see a movie like that get so many props from mainstream Hollywood. I agree with that. Paul says Pan's Labyrinth is my fave Del Toro movie. I like Devil's Backbone. Is that Del Toro? The Devil's Backbone. If that is Del Toro, that's my favorite. John says, I liked The Shape of Water quite a bit. That was okay. I liked it. Tristan said, if you read this, you have been distracted. Fiend says, Shape of Water is a beautiful movie. Basically, Del Toro writing Creature from the Black Lagoon fan fiction, and I love it. Shin says, love Blade 2, Kronos, and has produced The Orphanage. Shin, I got a Kronos thing. This is for old school Shin. Little treat for you, buddy, for all the super chatting tonight, but there is the Kronos device. There's the little hole that the needle comes out of. It is a magnet made by Cyril Resin Co. I got that in a freight crate, but you can't really tell, but it does really, really, really look gold in color. Has the nice ruby there, but the Kronos device, maybe if I go like this, is that any better? See the gold there? The Kronos device. Anyways. Yes, Devil's Backbone. Paul says Del Toro. Paul says also The Orphanage. I love The Orphanage. I have that on DVD. Shin says, did he produce The Orphanage or direct to? Wild Will says, just unboxed 14 Black Lava DVDs and 2 Toxic Filth films from After Party Massacre Screener and Amateur Porn Star Killer Trilogy, LOL. Paul says, Amateur Porn Star Killer Trilogy, LOL. I'll check that out. Paul says, check. Fiend says, gotta go. Keep being awesome, Phil and chat. Fiend, thank you so much for blessing us with your presence tonight. It was a lot of fun. Shin says, oh, wow, that is awesome, Phil. Shin says, that's really cool. A very nice obscure piece. Shin says, see ya, Anthro Fiend. Have a good week. Have a good week. I say, have a good week. We have Mirrors unrated with Kiefer Sutherland. Basically, he takes a late night job at this rundown department store just to make sure there's no squatters or whatever. And there's ghosts and happenings, and it turns out it's like an old jail or something, and people were being killed or something. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've seen it, and the writing's way, way too small for me to even attempt to read the back. But it's Mirrors with Kiefer Sutherland. I'm sure you guys have heard of it or seen it. Wild Will says, always enjoy your entertaining content, Mr. Phil. Thank you so very, very much, Wild Will. I appreciate that. Paul says, did you watch Blood Vessel, Phil? I have not watched Blood Vessel yet. And I think I took a screenshot of that before, yes. Yeah, I need to watch that. I'll take another screenshot and hopefully I'll get to it at some point. Paul says Mirrors is good. David says I enjoyed Mirrors. Shin says I love Mirrors. Shin says this really surprised me. Wasn't expecting much. Tristan says you and John make me enjoy your videos so much. Thank you, Tristan. Shin says Mirrors didn't completely fall down either. Was decent. Mirrors 2, he said. I do have Mirrors 2, but it's up on that shelf on DVD. Next, we have a fun one, and I'm pretty sure this is out of print and might go for some money, and I didn't think I still had it, but I still have it. This is the 2-disc 20th anniversary edition of the Monster Squad. Everyone knows the Monster Squad. It says, you know who to call when you have ghosts, but do you know who to call about monsters? Whether it's a bat in your belfry or a mummy in your microwave, the Monster Squad ain't afraid of no ghouls. Count Dracula has until midnight to retrieve an ancient amulet that will give him final control over the delicate balance between good and evil in the world. To help him, the creepy Count calls on some old friends, the Weird Wolf Man, Grotesque Gill Man, Mildeweed Mummy, and the Freaky Frankenstein. Oh, Mildewed, Mummy, and the Freaky Frankenstein. As the ghoulish group get closer to the amulet, it's up to the Monster Squad, headquartered in the local treehouse, to pool its questionable resources and stop the monster mayhem. Wolfman's got nards. Everybody knows that. This is the Monster Squad 2-disc 20th anniversary edition. Pretty sure that both this and the Blu-ray are out of print. So if you have the Monster Squad in your collection, that is some money right there. I didn't see the sequel to Mirrors, says David. Shin says, oh nice, I have that 2-disc edition as well. Wild Will says, you along with a few others inspire me to start a channel and keep collecting, like when you show off your more rare and limited releases. Yeah, start a channel. I'd watch your content for sure. Paul says Monster Squad, a childhood movie. Paul says still holds up, great effects. Shin says love the deep dive pieces like from Chronos, Extra, Waxwork, etc. Yeah. David says Monster Squad is one I never saw. Not sure how I slipped past my radar. I was 10. You were 10 when it came out? You need to watch Monster Squad. You'd still like it now, David. It's fun. Next, not horror, but we have a special edition of Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Run away! Run away! Run away! This one's loaded with a whole bunch of extra features. There's the bunny in the Grail there. You have your basic little write-up there. And your Dookie Doo chapter listing there. Monty Python and the Holy Grail, a whole slew of special features, even the Lego version of Monty Python and the Holy Grail, which is fantastic. If you want to see it acted out in Lego, you can watch that. David says 1987. Paul says everyone should watch Monster Squad. David says I was 10. Wild Will says Monster Squad, legendary as a kid. Wolfman's got nards. David says she turned me into a newt. Shin says very nice. Meaning of Life is my fave of theirs, I think. Yeah. For me, it's either Meaning of Life or and now for something completely different. Why is my phone still on? Gosh darn it. It was Siri. Paul says, if you didn't know the date Monster Squad was made, you'd never guess it was an 80s movie. The effects are so good. I agree with that. Next, we have Richard Gere in The Mothman Prophecies. I love everything Mothman, Jersey Devil, Bigfoot, UFOs. I love all that stuff. I really, really, really do like this movie. It has a lot of problems, but they don't really affect the entertainment. But what can you do? That is the Mothman Prophecies, based on true events that shock a small Virginia town. The Mothman Prophecies is a spine-tingling supernatural thriller that will rattle your nerves and shake your beliefs, starring Richard Gere, Laura Linney, and Deborah Messing. This is a 2-disc edition, comes with a 1-piece J-card with track listings there. It also comes with a plethora of special features there. So that is cool, cool, cool. The Mothman Prophecies, the Mothman Prophecies. Paul says, love Mothman. Paul says Mothman's story is so crazy. A lot of people saw that thing. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Paul says, then the men in black showed up to question people. Yes, they did. Shin says the Mothman Prophecies is an amazing book. The movie was so not like the book. The novel combines UFOs, men in black, poltergeist activity, and the Mothman. Tristan Paul says, gotta go by. See you, Tristan. Hey, thanks, man, for stopping on by. You're awesome. Wild Will says, I always appreciate Monty films, but just not a huge fan. Like Time Bandits the most. LOL. Shin says, I'm very into UFO and alien lore as well. Been into it for many years now. David says, Mothman, another good underrated movie. I agree with that. Shin says, see you, Tristan Paul. Have a good week. Wild Will says, Mothman, highly underrated film, though. I agree with that. Next, we got a cool Millennium Edition red case. George A. Romero's Night of the Living Dead, the original classic. Love the red DVD case. Probably the reason I kept this, due to the fact that I still have multiple DVDs and Blu-rays of this movie. But the red case, pretty cool. Pretty cool. On the inside, it looks even cooler because it's so much red. And then if I remove the J card and hold this right up to the camera, that's a lot of red. You have to admit, that's red. Comes with a nice little 2-page write-up with a fake George Romero signature right there. And I believe this also has the short Return of the Living Bread on it. Let me just double check that. Film parody Night of the Living Bread. So the short Night of the Living Bread is on here. It does come with a slew of special features, as you can see there. Night of the Living Dead, everyone knows it. George A. Romero's classic masterpiece. The men in black, as described in the book, were unlike any portrayal you've seen in movies, beyond bizarre. Ooh, Shin, you're freaking me out, man. Mama always said, that's a lot of red, says Shin. Paul says, R.I.P. Romero, yes. Paul says, Survival of the Dead was so bad, yes. Wild Will says, been trimming back the fat on my zombie section, but Night of the Living Dead classic is classic. Shin says, Romero's son is keeping the series alive, working on scripts and comics for Heavy Metal Magazine. That's cool. And you guys wanted the OG Pennywise. I don't really have much OG Pennywise. I do have this guy right here. Just going to go on one more little break before I sign off. One little break with OG Pennywise to keep you guys company. And yeah, Feel free to talk amongst yourselves, super chat away, and I'll be back in another 3 minutes and 23 seconds to, give you my final thoughts. Sorry, guys. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. Okay, just gonna catch up on the chat here. Everyone talking about Tim Curry, saying he's scarier. Nice sculpt on Pennywise. Looks good in this lighting. The lines on his face. Don't think Tim Curry could do it now. No, he had a stroke and he's in a wheelchair. I'm glad they went with the Myers mask. I like it better than the clown mask. Solar powered flashlights are stupid. Blank face of the shape is better. I agree. Terrifier art, the clown is the man now. I agree. Love art, the clown. Sold my OG It and remake drive-through Terrifier Funhouse and Funhouse Massacre recently. LOL. Whoever scored those are happy. It Chapter 2 deflated things a bit after the great first part. I agree with that. Part 2 was not the greatest. Paul says the guy who played Art did some hilarious acting in that movie. David says NECA and Funko have milked the It franchise. I agree with that. It and Jeepers Creepers are gone for another 27 years. David Howard Thornton said he got influence from the Joker and Chaplin. Charlie Chaplin. All right, guys, I do have to work tomorrow. It's been a fun evening hanging out with you guys. I thought I'd just come on here, go through my old DVDs with you guys tonight. Do kind of a nighttime stream, which I rarely do, but every now and then you will see me on here at a different time. My usual live streams are either Monday morning or Thursday morning, or both, at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to about 12:10 Eastern Standard Time. So if you did miss this live stream and you're watching the replay, make sure to catch me on my next live stream. I appreciate everyone who hung out with me in the chat today. You guys are awesome. I especially appreciate the super chatters today. You guys are extremely generous, and my channel thanks you. If you like great horror content and you haven't subbed to my channel yet, please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. You can hit the bell notification icon to be notified every time I go live or drop a new video. Catch you guys on the flip-flop. See you Thursday. Have a good week, Phil. Thank you so much. David says, thanks for spending your free time with us, Phil. Always appreciated. You guys are appreciated way more than you guys appreciate me, if that makes any sense. John, you have a good night's sleep too, brother. Take care. David, take care. Shin, you're awesome. Paul, you're awesome. Love all you guys. If you like this video, make sure to smash that like button. We got 18 big thumbs ups tonight, so thank you for those. And yeah, be safe, everyone. Avoid the COVID. That's my time. Thanks for yours. Have a great one, guys. Peace.